It's still.
Put your thumbs up. Hello everyone. So tonight it's a bit of a different one from us at Paranormal Newcastle. What I'm going to do today is do a little bit of a history talk through the centre of Newcastle. We are 9 o'clock at night on a Saturday night in the centre of Newcastle, so imagine there are a few people around, but at the minute we're at the Black Gate in Newcastle, one of the main gates in Newcastle. This is an absolutely amazing place, and we are right next to the haunted guard rooms. So I will quickly take the camera and show you. We've got my brother, the lovely cameraman, on tonight. So
Excuse me, this stupid thing. So,
bear with me. Hiya Nigel, thanks for sharing. If everybody can share it out as well, that would be a massive help. If you hear screaming, it's not the paranormal. We are in the centre of Newcastle, so we've got a little bit of Newcastle nightlife going on there. These are the guard rooms at Newcastle Castle, the Black Gate of the castle. The guard rooms are said to be very, very haunted. At the minute, they're part of the display at Newcastle, so if you come and visit the castle and visit the Black Gate, you can come along and see this. However, hi Victoria. However, at night time, this can actually be quite a spooky place. You've got the haunted guard room, and I mean, you can't see very well, so I do apologise, but in here, there's actually stuff supposed to go on. So I've been told if you stick your hand in, things are supposed to be pulled from your hand. People lose jewellery apparently when they put their hands in here. Guard room number 2 at the Black Gate. So be very wary when you put your hand in there if you want to lose a bit of jewellery. And you can feel a bit of energy putting your hand in. I wouldn't want to be in there. I was told a story, and I will turn this camera around just so you can hear this story. Do bear with me. We're on StreamYard tonight, so Jack's putting his hand in. So, there we go. Hello. So, I was told that the Black Gate and the guard rooms have a lot of paranormal activity. If you put your hand in here, you lose a little bit of jewellery. But I was told the story that the electronics that are currently in the guard room over here, so this guard room, let's see how it's all lit up, the electronics through here were moved from the guard room that I've just showed you to this guard room. They used to play up in the other guard room, so they would never be able to keep them there. But they've moved them over to this guard room, and all of a sudden, things start working. So I'm going to turn our camera back around, and we will be going back and forth with the cameras on the stream, so do bear with that as well. First time using StreamYard properly. Perfect, we can hear. So hello to everyone, and thank God we can all hear tonight. I'm going to pick this up and walk a little bit along. Jack, can you just get that for me? So, here we are behind Newcastle Castle's Black Gate. There's a lot of history, especially here. So we've got, this is called the Heron Pit. And I'm not sure whether anyone has heard of William Heron. If anybody's heard of William Heron, he was the sheriff of Newcastle at one point during the reign of King Henry III. If you've heard of King Heron, please give us a comment. Sorry, Sheriff. We've got a few people shouting hello at us, so do bear with me. And I think we're being shouted at. So, the Heron Pit was supposed to have been used as a dungeon. So anybody who crossed William Heron was put in here. Now, it was said that the tradesmen in Newcastle, so any Norwegian tradesmen coming into the castle or into the place, did not want to be part of it. They didn't want to come in because they didn't want any involvement with Mr. William Heron. He used to steal from the passing tradesmen, and he also had a really bad reputation. So you didn't want to be chucked in one of these pits, would you? Didn't have any windows. It's called an oubliette. Lovely stuff. Wouldn't want to be chucked in there now, would you? Here's a little bit of information on the Heron Pit if you want to have a look at that. Absolutely lovely. And the trap door. Iron spike nails. What a lovely place to be. Oh, here we are. And I mean, how historic this land is, by the way. We're going to have a look around here. So here we have, if I move this up here, our lovely castle in Newcastle. For anybody who isn't from Newcastle upon Tyne, we have the lovely castle here. Yeah, so the skeletons unearthed in the pit, they were actually 600 Anglo-Saxon bodies. So on this site, it was used as an Anglo-Saxon graveyard. So 600 of those bodies were found under here. So this site originally was used by the Romans. So where we're standing now would have been originally called Pons Aelius, if I've got the spelling of that, the wording of that correctly. Pons Aelius, Pons for bridge and Aelius for the Emperor Hadrian's family name, was originally what the bridge in Newcastle's would have been called. So the bridge over Newcastle would have been called Pons Aelius. This was then later changed to the name. This was then changed to the name of Newcastle in general. So in general, Newcastle in the Roman times was called Pons Aelius. It wasn't a particularly useful fort for the Romans, and they didn't have much use of it, but I mean, the more political places they had, but Newcastle for the Romans wasn't that popular. They didn't really use it. It was just sort of housing, and but a really good place for the bridge over the Tyne. And the site, after the Romans, was used by the Anglo-Saxons. And as I say, the Anglo-Saxons used this as a burial ground. So 600 skeletons were brought from under this land. Absolutely amazing. If the stream freezes, I really do apologise. I can't guarantee what's going to happen. I'll watch it back afterwards, and if we have any technical issues, I'm always happy to come back and do this walk again. Newcastle is local to me and it's absolutely amazing. Here we have the Bridge Hotel as well, and I'll not focus on that too much because there are people sat in it, but the Bridge Hotel actually in their beer garden around the back has a section of the town wall, and also, according to sources, has a section of the Roman wall underneath it. So the Roman wall would have ran from here all the way sort of Westgate Road, and people in the Bridge Hotel are supposed to have seen a Roman legionnaire and also seen things in the men's toilets. So if you're having a drink in the Bridge Hotel, and if you're a man, if you happen to see a Roman soldier, it just might happen the Roman wall would have been there. Also a little interesting thing, this was built in 1901 across the original building of the Bridge Hotel. The original Bridge Hotel, there was a little steam engine that would have sort of sat on the bridge there. So if anyone's interested, you can actually search that up. But amazing stuff. The Bridge Hotel, there's a lot of experiences people have in there. So if you've had an experience at the Bridge Hotel, please comment it. I know a lot of people have told us that they've had experiences in the Bridge Hotel as well. A few people, I remember years ago when I put a post up about it, somebody who lived there commented saying that they used to have, I think, music boxes turn on and off. So amazing stuff. And here we go. So Newcastle Castle itself has a very interesting nightlife at the minute in Newcastle, but here we have our castle. Now, this was built by, there was originally a castle on this site built by William the Conqueror's son. So William the Conqueror's son built a new Morden castle on this site. Then this site was built for this site was built for Henry III. So originally William the Conqueror's son built a castle on this site, and then This was built for Henry III. So here we are. I do have a little history book. I've not brought out my little history book just because I don't want to rely on it. But I do have a few prompts. So if I do need to have a look, and we'll have a look at the history on it later. But I've got the years and dates. So when we get into a little bit of a quieter part of Newcastle, I'll tell you all the years and the dates for when things were built. But William the Conqueror's son, who I think was called Robert Curthose, I will look this up, but it was Robert Curthose, I think. He built this, the original one, and then this was built on the site. And it was originally Robert Curthose's Newcastle upon Tyne. Yeah, Davey, it is a long walk to the Netty and the Bridge Hotel. I've been myself. And hello to Jenny. Hello to everyone tonight who's joining us. If you've joined us for the first time, please share. I'm just going to turn our camera around briefly whilst we're walking through the centre of Newcastle, just so we're not catching anybody on the camera there. Bear with me 2 seconds. And we are back on. Hello. So if you're joining us for the first time, share this out. We'd love this shared out. It's a little bit different one from what I usually do. I don't usually do live sort of walk arounds and history, but hopefully we can get a little bit of investigation at the end, which will be ideal. We've just got a lot of crossings to do. We're going to now walk through the centre of town. I've got a few little things to show you on the way, a few little stories on the way. My brother, he's going to be cameraman a little bit. Sorry, Jack. So as we walk through the centre of town, we're going to pass a lot of pubs. I'll apologise for the noise, but we have to walk this way because it's absolutely amazing stories. On this route, we pass where essentially Westgate Road, where the Roman wall would have been. So along this way, absolutely brilliant. I've brought my brother along just so I'm not in the centre of town on my own. But he's a good bodyguard. No, you're not in the way. Definitely a good bodyguard. Props to my brother. Good man. Right. So, history talk of Newcastle. It's a new thing, but there's a lot of places in Newcastle that I want to do. And I'll bring along, next time we come, a few people with me. So I know Mark's very keen to do a history tour of Newcastle. So many different places in Newcastle we've got, and he'll definitely come along on our next one. Let's have a look. Oh, Jack, watch. We're nearly at the next site that I've got to tell you about. I'm going to run across this road. Nearly at our next site. So there's a hell of a lot of really interesting buildings in Newcastle. And I'm not sure when you're here if you ever look at the signs on the street or like the little plaques on the street if you're walking past, but there's a lot of plaques along Newcastle city centre. Have a look next time you're in Newcastle because it's absolutely amazing. I mean, we've got a lot of old buildings here. A lot of old buildings. Hello to Sylvia. And we're just about to get to the bottom of Westgate Road, where a lot of our story starts. As I say, a little bit of an interesting one because I'm mixing the Roman wall with our new sort of, I say new, medieval city walls. So a little bit of a lapse in walls, but we've got the Roman wall, the city walls, and absolutely amazing stuff here tonight. If anybody's been to Newcastle or visited Newcastle, if you're not from here, you've got a lot to see when you're here. Not only just the things in the centre of Newcastle, but the city walls as well. And I've got a little picture to show you when we're past, and it'll show you the city walls of Newcastle and sort of the boundary of where it all goes past. So here we are at our next spot. And I will turn the camera around to show you our next spot. 2 seconds, guys. Look at my absolutely gormless face while I'm trying to change the camera around. Anyone recognise where we are now? So, oh, we've got a party bus. Sorry, Jack. Newcastle's very much alive tonight. We're talking about the past and the dead, but we've actually got a lot of life in Newcastle. So here we are. Newcastle Literary and Philosophical Society, the Lit and Phil. Is anybody aware of the Lit and Phil? A lot of ghost stories we have in the Lit and Phil. And a lot of presenters have been here. So, people who have been here include Oscar Wilde. He's been here and presented here. This building has a section of our Roman wall underneath it. So, the Roman wall that I keep telling you about, our Hadrian's Wall, Emperor Hadrian, has running from Westgate Road, and we're at the bottom of Westgate Road, along. Under a lot of these buildings are sections of the old wall, including the Lit and Phil. In the basement, you have a section of the old wall. Now, in the basement is supposed to be incredibly haunted. This is a library, so in this library, you've got people reporting, there's essentially a top row up there, people saying that shadows walk across the balcony and pages of books get turned when there's nobody there. So, absolutely amazing stuff. If you ever want to pop in, you can become a member of this library if you want to see if there's any ghosts. I don't know whether there's anything wanting to come alive tonight and show ourselves on the windows. But we have the Roman wall running under this building. And if you're very vigilant in Newcastle, you've also got a little plaque on this building. Now this building also, and as I say, Westgate Road, shows Hadrian's Wall. If you read this plaque, it's probably far too far away, but if you read this plaque, it tells you about Hadrian's Wall running under here. Now I'm just going to give Jack the camera again whilst I read a few of my facts out for you. I know we're in the centre of town and I know it's a little bit noisy, so do bear with me. We have, and we're currently at the Lit and Phil. So the Lit and Phil was a 19th century built, but it was a Grade 2 listed building. I know George Stevenson presented his miner's lamp at the Literary and Philosophical Society. We're going to say Lit and Phil, I can't say it. But just down the road was actually the first building to be lit by the electric light, and that was all linked to the Lit and Phil, so that's absolutely fascinating. But because the Hadrian's Wall ran beneath the section of there, it also ran beneath here. So this is Westgate Road. A lot of the public executions, so anybody who would have been in jail at the castle, because the castle would have been used as a jail, I think between the 17th and the 19th century, would have been used as a jail. So a lot of people were kept prisoner in the castle and they would have been led to their executions. Now this is the West Road of Newcastle, and the West Gate, all of the Roman roads and the West Road linked together, and across the centuries, whether it was the Romans, whether it was in other times, would have been led to their executions. So maybe not a nice thing in the centre of Newcastle. There was the West Gate, the actual West Gate of Newcastle. I'm just reading this for my dates. This was demolished in 1811, but 17 prisoners were actually kept there during the Civil War of Newcastle. So that in itself is quite fascinating. We're going to now just try and go past here, so we're going to our next site, and something that you might not know. You might know it, but you might not. And it's a building that has a lot of paranormal activity, and a lot of the workers there aren't very happy to be there. Sorry about the sound of the road.
Yeah.
But a lot of the workers, they experience paranormal activity, especially in the lift shaft of the building or in the basement. Now, we'll get there in a second. We're just going to safely cross the road past all of Newcastle's nightlife.
Do I use a camera for a minute?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just walking through the busy part of town, so bear with us. I'm going to point it the way.
Yep, yep. Yeah. Cool.
Still on green. So we're just passing Central Station, guys, and you know, the centre of town is actually lovely to see on Newcastle Town Centre running with life. It hasn't been alive for a long time, so it's really lovely to see that. Just before we go, I want to show you this. Can you pan down? So, this pillar at the gateway of the Roman Grammar School, Royal Grammar School, I've got the Romans in my brain, upon Newcastle upon Tyne, where in 1607 until 1844 occupied the chapel of Hospital of the St Mary the Virgin in the West Gate, founded near the site of in the 12th century. So there's a lot of history here as well. Do you want to pass me the camera around? Yeah. Sorry, 2 seconds, guys. Perfect. We're back. Yes, it is a beautiful place, Maria. It's absolutely gorgeous. So we're nearly at our next spot. And we've got beautiful churches as well along the way. Here we are. We might be able to get a bit of investigating, guys, at the end. I can't promise anything because we are in the centre of Newcastle. But hopefully we can get a little bit of investigating. So what we're doing now is just following the site of where the Roman road used to have been. So we would have been, the Roman road in Newcastle would have gone along Westgate Road. We can trace it if you look at the maps Before I show you our next site, actually, I will show you the Mile Castle. Is anybody aware of why the Mile Castle is named the Mile Castle? Does anyone know? So this, not actually on the site of where the Mile Castle would have been, but close to it, is named the Mile Castle. So our lovely Wetherspoons. If nobody knows this, J.D. Wetherspoon, all of the pubs are named sort of after what the area or the building. So our Wetherspoons, the Mile Castle here in the centre of Newcastle, one of our Wetherspoons, is named after the Roman Mile Castles. So every mile along the Roman wall, or Hadrian's Wall, would have been a Roman Mile Castle, which is around about, one Roman mile would have been around about 1,000 paces, I think. So you've got every Roman mile, there would have been a Mile Castle. And that would have been a little Roman fortification where essentially people would guard the wall, guard it from anybody coming in. Hadrian's Wall was very, very looked after. It might be the case that it was used to toll a lot, so they'll probably have gained a lot of money from it. But, I mean, the Mile Castle pub is named that because of the Mile Castle there. It's absolutely amazing. Yeah, every Roman mile across the wall guarded by at least 8 men, that's correct. And I'm about to show you the site of where the actual Mile Castle 4 would have been. Yeah, Victoria. It's absolutely amazing to know. It's along. If you look at Google Maps and have a look, you can trace from Westgate Road along, and I will show you this as well. But if you look at Denton, you've got Denton Turret, you've got Benwell Temple, Roman Temple. You've got all of this that was named that, but it's just all after the Romans, and it's all up the Roman wall, and you can trace the Mile Castles all the way up Hadrian's Wall. And I'm hoping to show you this a bit later, so hopefully in the weeks to come I'll show you a few of the Mile Castles and we could do a little bit of investigation as well. I'm trying to find, oh here we are. So this is the actual site of where Mile Castle 4 would have been. 67 to 75 Westgate Road. And if you look at our plaques around Newcastle, I'll wait for this to go past. It's really funny a fire engine should go past, because I'm just about to tell you about a fire in this building here. But I'll tell you this just after this little story here. So, a Hadrian's Wall Mile Castle, 2nd century AD, in 1985, the southwest corner of a mile castle fortified gate was discovered here. It formed part of the Roman frontiers and fortification of Hadrian's Wall. So there you go. Part of one of our Roman mile castles. So the Your Mile Castle Wetherspoons, which is just down there, is named the Mile Castle because it was right next to one of our mile castles, right here. And that is just next to the Black Swan and the Newcastle Arts Centre. So if you pop in at any point, if you're in that area, you'll see our lovely Mile Castle plaque. And we're just going to show you this. I'll show you Cross House. I'm going to cross the road briefly. Cross the road to Cross House. There's a lot of people over here, but Cross House, there was a site of a fire. And as I say, it's really funny that a fire engine should pass, because this building, said to be really haunted in the basement area, is where a fire broke out in 1919 on the 23rd of December, so just before Christmas. It's really sad. 11 people died in the fire. So here we are, Cross House. And I'll show you a bit up here. There we go, Cross House. 11 people died in the fire. Now the problem was that the steps wouldn't reach all the way at the top. So at the time, the firemen tried to save everyone they possibly could, but they just couldn't. Oh, we've got the statue as well. I'll show you that in a second. But they just couldn't get there. So unfortunately, 11 people lost their lives in Cross House. Now I've got this picture to show you. If you can see the ladders only go up to the 4th floor. So this was the fire. The ladders would have only got up to the 4th floor. So unfortunately, all the people on the 5th floor, they just stood no chance, which is really sad. So people were said to have died next to the lift shaft, which was the only means of escaping Cross House. This fire also happened just after really it was built. So it was 1919 when the fire broke out, but it was built in 1912. And this is directly across the street from the Roman Mile Castle 4. The 23rd of December 1919, a fire trapped the workers on the top floors, killing 11 people. The lift shaft and the stairs were the only means of escape. Fire brigade, ladders were not long enough, so the people on the top floor just did not stand a chance. It's said that the basement and the lift are supposed to be incredibly haunted. Yeah, so we've got the basement is haunted. I'm just going to click this comment. There we go. So there's Cross House for you. We also do have a little monument. I don't know too much about the monument, but I will have a quick look at it. Lovely view. So Joseph Cohen's the monument. And you've also got the assembly rooms over there as well. So the assembly rooms in Newcastle. I wouldn't be surprised if they were haunted. They're incredibly old. So we're going to now walk a little bit further and we'll show you past Cross House, which is haunted. As I say, the basement in Cross House is incredibly haunted. So a lot of the staff who work there do not want to go in the basement. Now the basement was actually where the fire was started. So the fire started in the basement area. So I'm not surprised that the basement's the haunted part. People jumped out of the top windows, which is weird because that's the floor with all the lights on it. But people jumped out of the top windows to try and escape the flames. It's horrific. So I'm going to... Here you go, Jack. Can you hold this for me? Yep. We're going to change the camera around again because we're just walking a little bit further. So you'll have to look at my ugly mug for a little bit. There we go. There we go. So now we're just going to have a little bit of a walk further in Newcastle. And we'll go to the city walls. Now the west walls is where we're going. And hopefully it's a little bit quiet. So I'll be able to show you that. I hope you're enjoying this so far. I know it's a lot of history, but I just wanted to show you our lovely town because we're Paranormal Newcastle and the city of Newcastle has so much history. Even if you're not from Newcastle, if you want to visit Newcastle soon, you've got all of the history. So we'll cross over. We're on our way. I'm glad you're loving it, guys. Because I'm using StreamYard, I can select people's comments. We love the tune. So, I'm actually planning on doing a few more history tours of Newcastle. At the minute, we're just focusing on the Roman Wall, and we're focusing on the town wall. Thank you for linking the information to the town wall there, Maria. I've got a little bit that I'm going to tell you when we get there. So, the town walls of Newcastle, just up by Chinatown, the west walls. The walls go all the way around where it would have been a medieval wall, and it would have kept the Scots out. Now the Scottish, they tried to invade several times. I know we had a lot of civil war, we had a lot of war within, and you know, it's incredibly sad when you think about it, but on the 19th of October 1644, the Scots invaded after a long siege of Newcastle, and they actually got through the border, but, and we're at the wall now. We'll change this around 2 seconds so I can show you. There we go. Here we are. Now, a lot of this is down back alleys. So good thing I've got my brother. There we go. The walls of Newcastle. Now, I mean, in here you've got a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of rubbish, and you wouldn't really want to be in here. I'll put it down as far as I can. You wouldn't really want to go in there. Yeah, I know not everyone's a Geordie, but I still hope you appreciate this stream, and I hope if anything's confusing, let me know. We'll do a little bit of the history in Newcastle, so when you decide to visit, if you want to visit us in Newcastle, you can come along and see how beautiful is this. Newcastle City Walls, the West Walls. You've not only got that, but you've also got the Tyne Theatre. You've got everything. So these city walls would have gone... I'll pass you the camera, Jack, again, because we've got this. There you go, we've got cameraman Jack on the scene. The Newcastletown Wall, built between the 13th and the 14th century, was 2 miles long and 6.5 foot thick, 25 foot high. It would have had 6 main gates at the time. So you've got Close Gate, West Gate, Newgate, hence Westgate and Newgate Street, Pilgrim Gate, Pandon Gate and Sandgate. And you would have had 17 towers as well. There's a smaller tower and turrets. I think this one is Durham Tower. So you've got the towers. This one's Durham Tower. The wall defended against the Scots twice, but after a decline in the border, so after the border wars, we had a lot of border wars, but after the border wars, the wall was unfortunately left to decline, so a lot of it is in ruin and wasn't really used. But you can still see inside Durham Tower, which is still standing. Absolutely fascinating.
Why is it called Durham Tower?
So a lot of there's a connection between here and Durham as well. So it would have been, I don't know this for sure, but I know it probably would have been called Durham Tower because there was a lot of sort of like rights given to different people. So an acknowledgement of Durham, maybe. I'll show you. I don't know whether you can see this very well, but I've highlighted. Can you see it? If you can see the yellow highlight, I don't know whether you can see that very well, but it's, yeah, there we go. That are the city walls of Newcastle. So the city walls of Newcastle on here, they would have gone all the way around Newcastle, and essentially just protected the town. So we'll have a little walk around. We've got lots more to see. It's lovely that they've got the wall lit up as well, so you can still see the city wall during the night. So if you're having a little drive around Newcastle, you'd still see the wall stand out. So we'll walk up this way and then cut through a little exit. Up here there's also Morden Tower. So there was Durham Tower and Morden Tower. Morden Tower's a bit further along here. We'll not show you it too much. We'll try and show you it from the other side, because I'll be honest, we had a walk over earlier and it goes down the back alley of Chinatown, so you've got a lot of rats and it's a bit dark, and I don't particularly fancy walking along with the rats. But what we do have is a picture of what it would have looked like. So if we show you this post, if you want to point the camera, you've got Morden Tower, which is what I was talking about there, pre-1920. So this is what it actually would have looked like. Oh, amazing. So not much has really changed. I mean, it's a back alley then, and it's a bit of a back alley now. And we'll show you down. You'll not be able to see too well. Jack, have you got your torchlight? If I take this, have you got your phone to shine the light down? Sorry, 2 seconds, guys.
That's useful.
We can walk a little bit in, but not too far. There's a lot of rats down here, guys. Just put your light on. Can you see much?
Yep.
Oh, you can even see them. There's massive rats down here, guys. I'm not wanting to walk down just because there's so many rats, but we'll walk through this little exit, and we'll walk around the other side and show you that. So we're nearly at the end of the little tour of Newcastle's walls. I'm going to see if we can do a little investigation. There's a lot of people around, but I mean, not too many around here. I think there's people where I was going to show you, so we'll avoid that area. Essentially, a lot of this area would have been used, I think it was like a mill of some sort. There's a plaque up there. There's people by the millstones, so I was going to show you that, but there's people by the actual stones. But this area would have all been used as that. But, I mean, how amazing that it's still there. Yeah, Victoria, the rats, not very nice. There's an office in a recently built school, Scotswood, called the Mile Custer. Yeah, so it's not a coincidence. So there'll be anything that's called a Mile Castle or named after a Mile Castle will very likely be on the site of a Roman Mile Castle or near one. So there's the Mile Castle Primary School as well, somewhere along there. If anybody's very interested, like I was, I spent hours doing this, have a look on Google Maps. Now go from Westgate Road and try and follow it from the bottom of Westgate Road, so where the Mile Castle pub is, and follow that in a straight line. Follow that in a straight line, and if you follow that on the maps, you'll start to see a lot of Roman things. So a lot of turrets and everything. I'm not going to show. There's a few people there, so I'm not going to show you that sign. We're just going to walk past. Oh no, they're moving. We'll show you the sign. 2 seconds, guys. Here we are, the tower. So this would have been. Hiya. You have a good night too. There we go. So I think this would have been Morden Tower. So you had Durham Tower before, this is Morden Tower. Here we are. The other side of that you can sort of see, but it's really not nice. You wouldn't want to be on that end because of all the rats down the road there. So this is what I wanted to show you. So you've got the Galagate Led Works, and I'll show you this sign. It's a bit dark, but the Galagate Led Works, and these would have been sort of millstones. Now this would have all been used as this site. So this site was all the Galagate Led Works. And this on the floor, Jack, can you point your torch at the floor there just so we can read what that says? So that says shaft. So I'm going to assume that there was a shaft on this site going directly under here. There we go. Should we put our... What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put a few REM pods out. We've got people around, so if they walk past, they walk past. But I'm going to put a few REM pods down. So I'm going to put my little bag of equipment here. I brought all of the paranormal equipment, guys, just in case we manage to get an investigation out. Now, I'm not sure whether we'll find anything, but we've got the radiation detector, which I'm just going to put down, which is actually sort of going off a little bit. It's not the live stream because it's radiation detector, but there might be a little bit of radiation in Newcastle, I suppose. We'll put this one down, see if that catches anything or beeps. So I'll show you this briefly. Jack's got his torch. We've got the K2 meter. We'll just put that a little bit away from the live stream because that will be triggered by the live stream. So I'll show you at the minute. Can't see that triggering. That's not moving. If I go towards that, it's still not triggering. So if my live stream, there we go. I have to get that close to it for it to go off. So it's if that starts moving, it's not my live stream. Keep your torch on if possible. Yeah, so Jack's phone, he's going close to it. It's not triggering it. So if that starts going off, it's not us. We've got our static detector, positive and negative fields. If that goes, if it's a plus, it's positive. If it's a minus, it's a negative field. If that lights up, maybe we've got some static in the area. It's said that the static can sort of be linked to the paranormal. Jack, I need you to put your torch on briefly, just so I can see. It's a little bit dark, guys, and my flash on I've got StreamYard on, and StreamYard isn't letting me turn the flash on. So we just put a few REM pods out. We'll space them out equally. I've taken my faulty REM pod off, so go. If you go close to this, it'll make a really loud noise. So that's the REM pod. Got a little nice line of equipment there. We'll also put the flashy balls out, eh? So a nice line of equipment. If you go to near this flashing ball, it'll light up. So if you press it, it'll light up. There we go. Torch on. There we go. So we've got all the equipment out. And we're right next to the city walls of Newcastle. If there is anything here, can you please go towards one of the devices that I've put on the floor? If you were killed trying to get into our city, outside these walls, can you go towards one of these? If you go towards it, we'll know you're there. We'll be able to pick you up, your energy. If you go towards here, it'll give us some numbers. It might even make a noise just so we know you're here. If you go towards this device, it'll light up. If you touch this little ball on the floor there, that'll start flashing. And if it starts flashing, we'll know you're there. And if you go towards here, it'll also make a loud noise. So any of these devices, come over and let us know. Is anybody here? Come towards us and just let us know. Yes, Victoria, I will. If there's any Roman soldiers that might have been killed over here, if you used to walk along Westgate Road to Pons Alias, come and let yourself be known. Come towards one of these bits of equipment and let yourself be known. Maybe you just love our city. If you're no longer with us, you're a resident of Newcastle, maybe during the Victorian times, you lived here. The Black Gate used to be a slum dwelling, so a lot of people would have unfortunately lived in massive poverty in this area. If you were one of those people and you lived in this area, come and let yourself be known. Come towards us. Charlotte, I don't know exactly where all of the plague pits are in Newcastle, but there was a lot of plague pits. I know, and that is one that I'm planning for the future for a live soon. I'm going to show you plague pits in Newcastle, but not quite on this site. I will look that up for you though. I'll have a look. So the next time we're out, the next time we're in Newcastle, we will have a look at that side of things. Unfortunately, Newcastle was, as a lot of places in Britain, had a bad sweep with the bubonic plague, the Black Death. So this area, being slum dwellings, would have been hit really hard. A lot, I would assume, and I don't know about the deaths in Newcastle, but a lot of people would have tried to break past here and past the walls. So I would assume there would have been a lot of deaths on this side of the wall as well. There we go, it's lighting up. Guys. Is that you? Have you come towards us? Just touch that again. Let us know you're here. So you have to actually touch that for it to go off, guys. Davey, that might be why the radiation detector's gone off before, because something's there was some radiation in the area when I put that down, so that might be the sandstone from there. But the motion ball, and I'll show you quickly. That's how you have to stamp next to it to get it to go off. I've just made that go off there, so I've stamped next to it and it's gone off. You have to be. I'll try and get this better for you. Look. I've just stamped next to that and it's gone off. See? I'll wait for it to stop. So that makes that go off. If that was you, let's just move towards our little motion detector on the floor. We know you're here. Thank you for doing that. Would you be able to do that again for me? Just so we know you're here, if you could do that again, please move that ball. Just go towards it and touch it, just so we know you're there. I'll set up a REM pod on the other side of there. On the other side of here. So I've just set up another REM pod. this blue light here. If you go towards it, see, it makes a noise if you go towards it. If that was you that just moved the ball there and made that flash, would you go towards this blue light on the floor? We've got a plane overhead. It's a weird sight at the minute, seeing a plane. Not many people leaving the country. There we go, there we go. Can you go towards the blue light just next to you? You've made that flash again. That's absolutely amazing. If you could just go towards the blue light next to you, it'll make a noise and we'll know you're there. If you can just go and make the noise, make a noise, go towards that blue light. Did you live in the slums of Newcastle? Were you one of the people who lived here? If you did, just make these light up again, just so we know you're there. Can you go towards one of these devices on the floor? Any of them? Thank you. Go towards the blue light next to it. We'll know you're there. If you come touch that device here, it'll make a noise. I'll show you. If you go towards here, it'll make a noise. It'll make a noise like that. Go towards it. Any of these. We're not going to be here very long. We're only going to be another 5 minutes or so, so if you can make yourself be known. Yeah, it might be. It's a little bit noisy. They're probably not used to people trying to speak to them. As I say, there's a lot of history in this area of Newcastle. Can you go towards this blue light? Just here, just so we know that you're there. If you're a small child, you can come play with this ball or any of these devices. Come talk to us. We just want to know you're here. It's quite silent tonight. Next to the walls. It's quiet. You're not used to Newcastle being so quiet. You're used to having a lot of people around. In the centre of our town. Did you die next to this wall? Was your home next to this wall? Were you a Roman soldier before this wall? Was this your entrance into Newcastle? So guys, I'm going to turn our camera around now. we're not getting too much in the form of activity at the wall, which I'm not surprised. We're in the centre of Newcastle. We can't expect too much. It's quite a loud place, a vibrant place. A lot going on at the minute, and it's lovely to see our city active, not with paranormal, but with people. Beer gardens are open. Soon the pubs will be open in the centre of Newcastle. So I think I'm going to call this a night tonight. If you enjoyed this tonight, we can come back. I know it's probably not always going to be as quiet and there are people around. But if you enjoyed tonight, or if you want more history talks in the centre of Newcastle, I'm planning on going live as many Saturdays as I can, Fridays or Saturdays at 9 o'clock, as many as I can with as many places as I can. So if there's anywhere that interests you in the centre of town, let us know. Comment, join our group, our Paranormal Newcastle group, if you're not joined the group already. If you've not joined the group, come join it. Put a post in, let us know what you want. I'm happy to do anything. I mean, I love history. So even if it's not paranormal, if it's just history, come join us. We're Paranormal Newcastle and I absolutely love it. So come be a part of it. And I'm so glad you've all enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining. And I'm going to call it a night. There's a few people walking past, so bear with me. I'm going to... Oh, the ball's flashing again. I can't show you but because the cameras... But the little ball's flashed again there. So I'm saying good night and the spirit's saying good night as well. So thank you all for joining. I've had a lovely night and I've really, really, really enjoyed spending the night just talking about the history of Newcastle. Join our group, like our page, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.